Alright folks, so I'm gonna be rambling a little bit first before we get into the reveal today. If you're on the Discord and you check the live announcements and important news, you might be aware of this because I've kind of been hyping it up a little. So milestone and new reveal hype, and the reveal isn't quite ready for social media Twitter, so it's only those of you who come to the stream today who will see it. That's right, so whoever's here is gonna get a special first time before anybody else preview. Hi Rod, how's it going? Good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. Too much effort, not fun enough or pay, sadly. Not boring though. Oh no, well at least it's not boring, but hopefully you get to do something fun soon out because you deserve it. Hi Dave, cute pigtails, how's it going? Yes, I like my pigtails. Nice and easy hairstyle to do when my hair's wet. And how's it going? Good. I'm nervous though today because I have planned a reveal. I mentioned it briefly last stream and a little bit on the Discord during my break, my stream break. Because I've been working on something off stream during this whole mess, this chaos. Been doing something because it's been a bit hard to get into game dev or any intense work, so I've found something, a new sort of hobby that I've been enjoying, and it's related to the reveal, which I'll go into in a sec. I'm going to drag it out on purpose for you all. Getting ready to go have breakfast, but wanted to say hi and make sure you were all right. Yeah, just nervous, Rod. Any plans for the weekend, possibly? I think my sister's coming over to hang out, to see the cat. That's right, it's a cat. We don't actually own the cat. It's a stray or feral cat, we're not sure. But it lives in our garden, our new garden. And we're taking good care of him because he's a real cutie pie. Like, absolutely beautiful cat. I hope it's as pleasant as possible. Yeah, me too. It's going to be nice and chill, hopefully, and quite sunny. It's been sunny lately. Lots of people are sunbathing. Except for me, of course, because I'm a hermit. My computer. Alright everybody, so what we're going to do first, well, I have posted Discord live announcement. I'm going to post a tweet as well today, a live tweet in a minute, but first I want to screen capture something, but I don't know if it's going to let me because it's an incognito browser. But guys, if you go on the website, raindroprpg.com, something's up there right now. It's just an under construction page. So it's nothing fancy just yet. I want to get a screen capture of it. I might literally just screenshot it myself and put it in Paint. Because this is on another window, so it's not showing. I mean, I can get the whole screen captured, but I don't want to. Talk on Sunday as usual, about 1 your time, hopefully. Yeah, take care, Rod. And I hope that your breakfast is yummy. I'm curious what breakfast you got. If it's something fancy. Alright. So, yes. I'm going to put the website chat for you guys. And you'll see it with your own eyes. It says right now the website is temporarily under construction for a surprise that will be revealed during tomorrow's stream. Because as soon as I take it off under construction, You'll see. You'll see it immediately because the website's kind of changed. Yeah, I spent last night updating it. I mean, it looked basically the same. It's not like a brand new overhaul or anything. It's still the same website before. There's just a bit of new content on there. That's all. Just oatmeal. Ooh. Is that like porridge? I'm showing my shoulders today because it's really hot. Okay. Right. So let's get this. Should we get a tweet? Get a live tweet down first, and then after that, we're gonna reveal. We're gonna do the reveal. Kind of. It's not too bad. I've had porridge sometimes. It's not my most favourite thing in the world. But it's okay. I tend to prefer cold cereals. Hi Matt, how you doing? It's good to see you. You've just arrived just in time. Just before the big reveal. I'm dragging it out so we can gather the chat. But I'm not gonna wait forever, of course. And whoever's here first is gonna get to see first. So, how are you, Matt? I hope you're doing good. Ground oats with either milk or water that congeals to be edible. Oh, you can have it with water. I tend to have milk with things and then I ended up lactose intolerant. So now I just have milk that doesn't have lactose in it. I'm not 100% sure I'm lactose intolerant, but I always had a terrible stomach after drinking milk and it went crazy. So yeah, it must be that. Sometimes with fruit in it. Oh yes. My favourite thing with fruit is pancakes and Nutella. Had that on pancake day. It's the best combination ever. Yay, have a good weekend, Rod. I appreciate you coming to stop by and say hi. Yeah, the hole in the yard is getting filled with rocks today. Oh, that's progress. That's good, I believe. I'm not much of a garden or gardener person myself because I'm an indoor hermit, couch potato type who avoids the weather and the sun. But my family are obsessed with the garden. I don't even know what to say on this tweet. I kind of want to just say that those of you that drop by stream today will get to see a special surprise. Hi Kung, happy 250 stream. How you doing? I'm doing good, Kung. I'm hyped but nervous because today, I mean, I've said a few times, I've tried not to type it up too much because I mean, it's not like amazing or anything, so I don't want to get anyone's hopes up massively, but it is still pretty cool and I'm excited. It's all cool things, so I'm going to be showing that today. Only those of you in stream are going to see it. I'm not going to post anything on Twitter yet. I might do in the coming days or weeks, whenever the time's right. But what I'm going to be showing today is sort of what should we call it? An early stage. Like an early stage. So not quite... No, I'm not sure it's quite ready for the world to see, but it's definitely ready for you guys to see. A special surprise. Oh my god, are you shocked, Rex? Are you pregnant? Joke. Just imagine. But yeah, I'd be the be like Mary. I'd be like Mary. Jesus. But yes, it's nothing to do with real life. It's related to Raindrop Chronicles. So that's a hint, that's a clue. Laughing my hands off. I know, right? So, what do you think about that live tweet, folks? Well, I've put a poll up. That was an accident. Accidentally clicked that. Exciting, yes. Okay. Now to the eye face. There. That's a mysterious enough tweet. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna retweet it on Raindrop Chronicles account actually. And now we'll turn it off. Okay. I think I've been holding out for long enough. Right. So, where are we going to begin? We've been streaming for half an hour and all I've been saying is there's a surprise. I'm sitting here doing everything else. Okay, so, hang on. Let me change this command. I've got a command. I was going to put in the website. It's !project at the moment, but I'm going to change it to !game. Because more people tend to put that in, so, !game. Failed to update the game, what? Strange. Maybe I should change it back to project then. Because obviously !game is something else. Right, so. Basically, if you click on the website, it'll have something different on it. If you click on it right now. Nothing amazing so far, just an under construction page, but that will be going off soon. And once it goes back to normal, it'll look a bit different. There's a bit of new content on there that is to do with the surprise. ! Website. Yeah, actually, should we change it to it? I think that's a good idea, Rex. We'll have it as ! Website. Now and again, I tend to have some people come in and do the ! Game command. So that's why I wanted to change it to game. But if it's going to do that and have the bot say that, then that's probably not a good idea. I like game better too, but it comes up saying failed to update the game, and that's no good, is it? So for now, hi Kay, how's it going? Hi Kay, how are things? How have you been? How is life treating you? Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, so right, yeah. If you click Raindrop RPG, yes, you'll see it. Keep that in your tab, folks, because it's any time in the next however many minutes. that website under construction will be getting turned off and the surprise will be there. I'm good, thank you, honey. You? I'm doing good, Kay. Just enjoying being back to streaming after a bit of a hiatus because of a house move. I'm in a brand new room streaming now, and I don't have a dodgy green screen today. Yay! Because last stream, the green screen was all, the lighting was a mess. So now I hope it's fixed. Getting used to this new space while getting back into streams and the project and enjoying what's to come, because there's some exciting times ahead. Green screens are always fun, lol. Yeah, sometimes I get why some people don't bother having one, because it's just easier not to deal with the lighting, but I've never liked showing off my room or the background of my room. I prefer that being erased from the world. You only get my face. Okay. So I'm going to give you the first clue on what this is about, folks. And so some of you might already have a feeling what this is, like a very strong idea what this reveal is today, because I've been hinting quite strongly at times during stream, so it depends how much attention you've been paying, folks. But some of you won't have a clue what it is, of course, and here we go. Here's the first hint. The main reason I stopped using too much ag right before anything. What do you mean by ag? I'm a doofus. I'll probably know exactly what you mean in a minute. Aggro. Yeah, you mean you got mad, you got ragey over the green screen. Yeah. I've had my green screen for so long now. I never had one in the first few weeks of stream though, but then I got one. Right, so this is my YouTube, folks. Who remembers when we had this stream right here? Is it gonna autoplay? Yeah, it wasn't meant to autoplay. I just wanted to show the thumbnail. That's annoying because when I clicked on it earlier it didn't autoplay. Have I got, let me check my extensions because oh no, don't want to see that. Right, yeah, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just like say it's that one. I don't know if anyone's gonna see what that one is though. No, not that one, this one. I'm going all silly now. Hi Kira, how's it going? It's good to see you. Legi's back from his deep slumber. Indeed, look, you can see you walking across this screen. How are you, Akira? Either fell down or was crinkled or lighting was dodgy. Yeah, I feel it. That's a real mood, Kay. How's your streams going and your crafting and all your stuff? What are you been up to though? Good, and you? I'm doing good, Akira. You've come at a good stream, Akira, because I'm revealing a little surprise, a little something today. Right, so I really hoped that I could show this thumbnail up on big for you, but the video plays when I click it. So I'll have to tell you what it is. It's this one here. When we decided to give the environment art a glow up, folks. That's what this surprise is. So let me get up. Where is it? Google Doc from last stream. Because I wrote on here. That stream was how many months ago? It was 2 months ago, folks. So it's been a bit of time. Some of you might have forgot all about that stream because we had a bunch of world building streams after it, and that's what we've been busy with. But we're back to that now. That's why we're streaming under the art category today. That's why. you might have noticed. Okay, so here, I'll zoom in. We've got all the game dev parts here. World building, story, characters, art, battle system, UI, menus, and under art we've got obviously we're doing HD version of all the battle sprites soon. We recently we did Carol a while ago, and we still got to do the others, but this is the one. Make sure the screenshots look awesome for the coming soon Steam page launch. Wow, since the start of the year I have had a Steam page for Roots and Rumours, folks. It's all there, and all ready for me to submit to Steam, and obviously it's gonna just stay as a coming soon page for a long time, but it'll be there so people can wishlist the game, and the hype can get rolling between now and full release. And before, what's been stopping me submitting that Steam page is the screenshots, because we used default RTP RPG Maker tile set from the very beginning of Stream 1. We were using the traditional default style of art that you're sort of given with the RPG Maker engine, with a bit of editing and a few custom art pieces thrown in, but not many. And it worked fine at first, because I sort of had the attitude, this is just a casual project, it's just a bit of fun, and I don't have time to do any art, or I don't have any money to commission any art, and so that just suited just fine. And my mind slowly changed over between Stream 1 and now, we're at Stream 250, I've gone definitely through a mindset change with this project, and my dreams have changed, and what I want from the project and game has changed as well, and evolved. I'd say evolved is a better word than change, it's all evolved. And I, like we discussed in that stream, this one here, when it was time to give the environment a glow up, I decided I want the game to have custom art and not the art that every other RPG Maker game has got anymore, because it just is cooler and better, right? And I missed so many things. Well, you're here now, Akira. It's what matters. And every single VOD is on the YouTube. I put it all up for you guys so you can catch up with anything you miss. Kay Davis says, yay. I'm on a wee break as well at the minute. Yeah, breaks are good. You come back refreshed and invigorated. Definitely very helpful to have now and again. That's for sure. Right, so yes, and here is the mood board that we did when we decided that we were going to go this direction. I had a few ideas in mind when we had this stream 2 months ago. It might have been just over 2 months ago, actually, more like 3 months ago, because I did upload the actual stream VOD quite late to YouTube, so it might have been more than that. I think it was more at the start of spring when we did this. There was a few directions. I was like, okay, either we're going to go on itch.io and buy tile sets on there that are a bit more unique to the current one. The second one was, or I commission the art to get it done so it's completely custom and exclusive to the game. And the third one was that I do it myself, which is what I've done. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for during the whole house moving process. It's a bit mad because yeah, I always said, didn't I, I wasn't good at the art. I've already got too much to do, but it's a process, right? Getting development, and I got in the mood to do it. I just was like, yeah, I'll try this, and it was fun. Hi Muffin Man, so how are you doing? So good to see you. How are things? And when on breaks, you got a new PC. Oh, Kijiji on the new PC. Is it pretty? Go big or go home, I guess. Yeah. So it's a new beginning, I guess. It's a new beginning for the project. It's like gone to another level now. But like, let's just make it clear here that the new custom tile set is in its like very early stages, of course, because I only made the decision to do this very recently, and I've been like working on it during this whole house move off stream. And the website at the moment, it's under construction, but when I take it off in a minute so you guys can see, there's a few screenshots on there of the new art that I've been doing, and when you've seen it, I'm going to open Aseprite, which is the pixel art software I use, and show you how I made the stuff and what I'm going to do next, because we're sort of on stage 1 of this custom art. There's going to be a process of like evolving with the art, like a bit like how Concerned Ape approached it with Stardew Valley. He's a big inspiration to me, and also might have been one of the reasons I decided to go this direction myself. When he was developing Stardew Valley over the course of like 4 years, I think it was about 4 years, he had like a very sort of early stage of his Stardew Valley art that he slowly built on over time until it was ready for release. And I think that's a very smart way to handle it, because it's almost impossible to get like a perfect tile set just in a handful of months finished, and especially when you're a noob. I've dabbled in pixel art before, of course. I've done the emotes for the channel and a little bit here and there, but I definitely do not consider myself a pro. I have a learning to do and a lot of development with my skills as well. But I'm excited to kind of challenge myself to do this alongside the game development at the moment. So this is the mood board. I mean, I've used this mood board and these images as a sort of guide for the look I want to achieve, like a stylized look. This is like the theme and vibe of the Everbloom Forest, and this is more the style of art I was looking to do, like a top-down stylized pixel art style, something that's easy to replicate and churn out assets from, because the current tile set that we've used for Red Rock Chronicles is very painterly and very detailed, and it's almost impossible to create new art from it from scratch for me, because it's not my style of art. So doing something more stylized like that is easier, but it also allows the flexibility to add detail over time as well. And I placed the pixel art characters there just to see if that sort of look would match with the character sprites, and it does. In fact, it probably looks better than the current art, because that isn't really even pixel art, it's more painterly in my opinion. So it's going to match more as well too. I'm doing well, yeah. Awesome. It's awesome to see you all. So yes, and the one reason why I eventually decided to pursue this and actually do the art, the environment art, by the way, I'm not going to delude myself into doing every single art ever myself, because I still think I'll need help and assistance elsewhere, especially when it comes to complex animations or you know, monster sprites, battle sprites, or any additional things, you know, but as long as it fits with the style, I get something commissioned as an additional thing. But doing the Everbloom Forest environment tileset art, the more I thought about it, the more I thought it's not impossible to do all myself if I pace myself and see it as a gradual gradual thing, because Roots and Rumours is only set in one place in the world, Everbloom Forest. We're going to caves later on, but those caves are going to look like the cliffs in Everbloom, so they're going to share the same tile set as Everbloom mostly, with a few additional features. So because it's only one environment, it wasn't overwhelming. Like obviously if I was doing snow, desert, swamps and all these different biomes in the course of the next couple of years, it would be too much. But because the other environments aren't even going to see the light of day until many years down the road in future episodes, it takes a big weight off. And due to the nature of the fact that this game, Roots and Rumours, is only set in this one place, it's kind of like, well, it's already done. It's not done because there's so much more of the tile set I still need to do and add detail to, but it's the base, the foundation's already there. So, and it's only been a handful of months. It's only been a handful of months during house move, so yeah. So the next bit, I have a to-do list here. Now I'm showing you this before I even show you the actual pixel art, which is funny, but I want you to have an idea of what the plan is for this and where we are now and what's still to come before I show you. So the expectations are there for when I show the reveal, give you the reveal, folks. So I'm seeing this in two parts, right? Part one is just the base shape, simple sort of concept and a bit of light and shadow and with the assets, just so you know the foundation, so it looks, you know what it is when you look at it basically, and it's there. But part two is like the texture and extra details, all the things that really make the assets look beautiful, the finer details and polishing. So I'm only on part one at the moment, of course. I've ticked off the things I've done, and the egg timer is by the things I haven't yet done, but what is coming up and what will be done next. So when I show you these screenshots, folks, you'll see these things on them. So we don't, it's pretty, there's a lot of empty details at the moment. At the stage we were at, it was okay enough to showcase, and like, because you'll get the idea of this style we're going for from it, and I was able to actually get some screenshots that look okay from what we got so far, even though there's only a few assets. We've got the trees down, we've got the cliffs, the rocks, as well as some basic grass edges and paths, and like the shape of the water and waterfalls where they are, and the doors as well of buildings. And the buildings are done as well, but that's the interesting part, because the buildings themselves are the trees. I've kind of gone for a sort of tree house look because I feel that really fits with the mood board we got here. So you'll see what I mean. And I think it definitely fits with Everbloom's vibe. So they're done, but they're not done because I'm doing them again, but with more texture, detail and layers on them. But part one is done of them. And I haven't done any of the bridges, ladders, or flowers or plants, or any of that really fancy stuff that really brings the forest to life just yet, because that's what's going to come up. I'm going to like slowly work on these over time. It's not a rush. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I've got to do all this in a month or anything like that. It's a process, and I see it as maybe a week in a month. 1 week a month I'll work on the art, and then the other 3 weeks in the month I'll do the scene work or game development side of things. So splitting it up like that, it'll be slow, but there'll be like an asset or an extra part of an asset done every now and then, like an update to how the current screenshots look. I'm updating like every 5 minutes. Yeah, you're updating what, Kung? The website or something else? But yeah, so I've thought all this out. Like, I mulled over doing this for months before I set my heart on actually doing it myself. Like, I was set on getting it commissioned for quite a while. I thought I'll get some funds, I'll save up a bit of money, and I'll hire a pixel artist to do this, a unique exclusive Everbloom Forest tile set. But one, that sort of stuff costs a lot of money that I'm not in the position to afford right now. It's like very expensive, hundreds if not up to $1,000 or more, with things like tile set art, because it can be very time consuming to do, which is why this is no joke for me beginning something like this. It's a process, just like how Concerned Ape approached it with Stardew. Yes, the website, yeah, well, don't you worry, I'll be telling you when it's off. So yes, I wanted to set your expectations, those of you that are here, because I don't want anyone expecting like whoa when they look at it just yet, because this is just the base and the foundation of this style, and it's all going to get slowly layers built on top of this foundation over time. So I wanted to set what's been done and what's still to come, so that you know. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the raid, Ink Flame Writer. I super appreciate that. How are you guys doing? Hi Lethan and Blazing and Author Brian and Ink. How was your stream? What did you get up to? I appreciate you dropping your community by here. Let me give you a shout out. Words on fire. You were doing some writing today again. How's that going? How's that all progressing for you? It's good to see you again. I've been away a little. This is my second stream back after a 6-week break, because I moved house. Big life change, absolutely massive. So I had to have the time off to. There was a lot of renovations around the house being done as well, so it was very difficult to fit a stream in for a few weeks until things settled down, but I'm back now. Yay! My stream was so much fun. How is yours going? It's going good. This is a celebration stream. You've picked a really cool stream to drop by, folks, because we're on stream 250 today. It's a huge number, right? And I'm revealing something to go alongside this milestone related to the game. So although it's streamed 250, it feels like we're still at the tip of the iceberg on this, because the reveal is me announcing that I'm going to be doing the tile set art all myself from scratch. Because before, with this game, it was a what do we call them? It's they were like a pre-made assets made by the RPG Maker community. They weren't the default ones that came with the engine, but they were ones that were made by fans of the engine that sort of look like the RTP. And many people use those same assets for their games too, because they're free for everybody to use. So it's really good. It's really helpful for developers, so they can get a whole look for their game down, and they've got something to use to make a game. But as time went on, I started to get a bit ambitious and think I want it to look unique and exclusive, and apart from everything else. And I was going to commission art first. That was my first idea, get commission the tile set, but I ended up thinking I'm just going to do it myself. Yeah, it's pretty daunting, I'm not going to lie, everybody, because it can be quite nerve-wracking to take on something so huge like that, especially because I don't consider myself an artist. This is a learning curve for me too. I do have a design background, but not in like illustration or art or anything like that. It's so it's still a learning process for me. Community assets, yeah, that's probably a good way to put it, Lethan. Yay, congrats, yay. And oh, no wonder it's been a while since I've watched your stream. Yeah, it is indeed, but it's good to be back. I'm really happy to be back. And like the new place, yeah, I'm settled in now. It took a bit of time to settle because it's weird and I hadn't ever moved before. I've lived in that same place my whole life, so it's all very new and still getting used to it, but I like it. I think I'm going to be comfortable here. Working on my magic system. Oh yeah, that's fun. We did the same thing just before the break. We did our magic system too, and we're going to be doing some more world building soon, and some more story plotting and all that's on the cards. I made a list of what's coming up in regards to the game dev streams. Lots of world building and story, lots of character development, a bit of glowing up of some of the character sprites, and of course me with this new challenge of doing the new environment tile set art gradually. We've already got a foundation here right now, and I'm about to reveal it on the website. I've been talking this whole time, and there's currently just an under construction page up, but it's going to be taken down soon, and you'll be able to see the new screenshots, every one of the new art. I've been working on it since this stream. When I was wearing the pig onesie here in this thumbnail, we had a stream made a mood board. I bought Aseprite, pixel art software. I spent a few weeks having a mess around with Aseprite, getting comfortable with pixel art, and then I made the decision to do it. I started having first of all I started doing some paths and a bit of grass. Then I did the rocks and they were terrible, and I ended up going back and redoing them about 7 times. And then I did the trees and they were terrible too, and then I redid them about 10 times. So there's been a lot of experimenting and a lot of practice over the last 2 or 3 months, and it's been really good and therapeutic to do while this whole house move thing was happening. I think it was like the ideal thing to do actually, because it doesn't require too much thinking. There's been a lot of noise happening around the house, and it's so I wanted to do something that was a bit more passive and relaxing, so I just spent the time just having a play around Aseprite, and it's now at a stage where I'm like, yeah, we've got some cliffs, we've got some trees, we've got a bit of you know, a few assets to show off to make it a worthy screenshot. There's still so much more that can be done. There's much more room for more textures, layers and details, way more, but I'm seeing it as an evolving process. So it's what, June now? So for example, say when August comes or September, there'll probably be a bit of change in how it's gonna look, what you're about to see. There'll probably be a bit more, you see a few more plants, maybe a bit more detail on the tree trunks and water and things. So I'm going to spend a few days each month, like a week of every month, dedicated to doing some art related pixel art environment stuff. And screenshot Saturdays, I'll be making use of Twitter and showing the evolving pixel art on there. I'm not sure it's totally ready for a Screenshot Saturday showcase just yet, because it's maybe a little bit early, but I don't think it's too far off from being shown on there. Right, I think it's time, folks, for me to take the under construction off. I might have to delete the plugin now, so that, because otherwise the cache might be not update properly. So I'm going to open a new window that you can't see. I'm going to go on raindroprpg.com and the WordPress admin. You're not going to see me go on this though, because I've got to enter my password and get all the secret stuff up. And I'll let you know when it's there. And I want you guys to see it yourself, you know, on your own computers. I definitely recommend looking on a computer rather than a mobile, because you'll see it better. I'd rather you see it yourselves rather than me show it on the stream. That way, because you'll see it in full quality and it's crisp, deep, like, you know. Otherwise it'll look blurry and meh. So, plugins. Deactivate, right. I'll let you know when it says it's deactivated it, okay. It's gone. If you go on the website now, everybody, it should be there. Let me know, because for all I know, the under construction could still be there. I'll have to refresh it on my end. But when you're on it, and if you just scroll down a bit, you'll see the latest screenshot section. It's the first bit, and you'll see the early foundation of the new tile set. Hi Vandalia, oh my god, you've come just before the surprise. Just the second I've unveiled it on the website. So, as a reminder, folks, what's there is an early version, the foundation of the new style, and it's going to be slowly added to over time, which you can see here that way on the thing. That's our roadmap for what's to come and what's still got to be done. It's working fine. Yeah, I'm glad it's working. I've refreshed and it's fine on my end, so it should be for you guys too. So my day started all wrong, so I'm very like, oh no, I hope work's been alright today. It's not been a mini burn. No worries about being late, it happens. Appreciate you guys stopping by at all. But there hasn't been much happening, just me hyping everyone up and being like, there's going to be a surprise for the last hour, and that's all I've been saying. But the surprise is new environment art. We had a stream a few months ago, earlier in the spring, where it was discussed that the environment art for Everbloom Forest was going to get a glow up. We got a mood board together of visual images, and this was the sort of style I was inspired by, something stylized yet detailed, something easy to churn out that isn't like impossible for me to get the assets for myself, but also potential for more detail and more layers as well over time. And oh no, it's not work. A dear friend gave me very bad news. Oh no, I hope it's okay. If you need to talk in the shelter Discord, feel free to if you need to vent, or if you're not all van. Hi Richard, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the sub. 21 months. Wow. How are you doing, Richard? I super appreciate the support. How are things going on your end? Oh, interesting. You changed the environment design a little. Well, I'd say it's quite different. I'd say the old tile set's better than this new one, mainly because the old one had all the floral stuff, the vines, and it had all those extra bits and pieces that brought the forest to life. Obviously the new one's still got a way to go. There's missing things. The bridges aren't even there. There's not even any greys by the tree, and there's a lot of room for more layers and detail on it. But the concept's there and the style that I'm going for, and it's a win-win, even if it's a little bit worse than the old tile set, just because I'm doing it, and it's more fulfilling to say, yeah, I've actually done this, because so many times I'm like, no, I haven't done the art, that's just other people that have done that. But now I can say I've done it. Right, so the website does have a question on it. Let me find it. That says, in the FAQ, it says, how much of the art do you create yourself? That question will need to be changed a little now. And of course, it's still the same. I'm not going to be creating all the art myself, because there'll still be definitely some assets that I'll be like, I'll actually get that bit commissioned. For example, if we get an overly ambitious monster that needs animated or something like that, and I just don't have the time because there's too much other work I'm doing and other bits and pieces. So I'm definitely not saying, oh my gosh, I am now the artist of everything in the game. No, there'll still be opportunity for me to outsource and things, because it's just a bit impossible for a solo developer to do absolutely every single thing. So I'm expecting there'll be times when I'll still outsource, as long as it, would fit with the style. And well, I think it's amazing. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate the kind words. I was sure more details will get pinned. It's just interesting that they're living in giant stumps, like, yeah, for now. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the whole look is, I wanted to go for something that was more like, I don't know the adjective, is the one I'd adjected here. Something that fitted with the sort of very humble and primitive like lake folks. The fact that they're all going to be sleeping on hammocks and things like that, those little decisions we made aesthetically. I wanted something kind of very different to the norm of what people are like in the city. Like, people in the capital had probably have more fancy buildings, of course, so when we progress there everything will look different, so it'll be fun as well to attempt doing things like that. But that's like years down the road, of course. Like Roots and Rumours is on the agenda for the next couple of years at least, so it's only the forest and the caves that'll need art doing for it for that time. And yeah, the trees have been turned into the houses now, so that was something was randomly decided to try out doing, and I think it works. And yeah, so the next thing I'm probably going to do, folks, I think I'm going to start on the extra layers and textures of things like the tree trunks and the water and waterfall, and maybe the grass as well, because I want to put grass under the buildings and rocks and little bits more on the empty grass sections too. I might start on those bits before I do all the extra bits like the flowers and vines and moss and ladders and bridges and all those things. Very nice. It's both a very fairy tale nature sort of style and more indicative of the forest being gradually cut down. Yeah, exactly, Matt. And I don't know if you noticed as well. I mean, I'm not showing it off on the screen because I want you guys to see it in its full quality, and the full quality screenshots of the website, because it won't be full quality if I show it on the stream, so it won't show it off enough. But the lakefall tree now is like way larger than the original one. It's thicker and it's also extends much further out than the original lakefall tree. And I feel that fits because it's meant to be the oldest tree, so we needed something epic that was epic compared to the other trees of the forest. And obviously he's lacking a face at the moment, and there's a lot of them, like, you know, it's just a base shape that's there at the moment, and even the leaves are not even finished. You might notice I started adding a bit of texture on the left hand side of the leaves but didn't finish it. That's what I started doing last night, but then obviously I had to go to bed, so I didn't finish that off. But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing it slowly get more detail, and have a face as well, because the cool thing about this now, I mean, we could even have a stream where we do the face and we decide the visual aesthetic of the face, because wouldn't it make more sense for the lakefall tree face to resemble Yorasa, like what that elf looked like, that legend, because that is his monument. So we can decide what this elf would have looked like and sort of make that the face of this new lakefall tree. And wait, where is the image of this? I only see the list of text. Yeah, so what you need to do is go on the website, everybody. It's all on there. If you click on it and scroll down, the latest screenshot section has the new environment art on, but of course it's early foundation. It's an early base of this environment art. It's not even close to being, the finished version yet, because it's a process. I've only been doing this since the house move. I started really putting it together. Before then, I was having a bit of a mess around in Aseprite and getting to grips with pixel art, but there was I did some terrible looking cliffs on that first, and but then I finally found a sort of style that worked, and it's gonna just slowly evolve. So it's just been a couple of months of doing it, and So if I can do that in a couple of months, I'm sure it'll look advanced even more a couple of months from now. I'm going to dedicate, I said a bit earlier, I'm going to probably dedicate a week every month to doing it, this art. The other 3 weeks I'll use for the game dev. I'm going to go back to finishing the main quest 1 and 2 scenes now. I'm going to spend some time doing some more scene work, and then I'm going to work on battle system once those 2 main quest scenes are done. But every month I'll probably have a break from the game dev every week per month and work on the pixel environment art a week in every month, and that way every month there'll be something new that's added and a bit more detail, and I'll be like, okay, there's a waterfall now, there's leaf texture now, there's trunk texture, there's flowers now, there's a bridge now, the tree has a face now, and there'll be something new every time. So yeah, and well, if you need some help making things, let me know. Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a learning process for me, and I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of streams where we open up Aseprite and have a play around and do something. So it's gonna be fun jumping into the deep end. And yeah, I'm gonna open actually the Aseprite now, folks, so we can have a look at the assets. Here we go. So there's some doors, right, and what I'm thinking is of the symbol on these doors, it would represent what's in the building, or not every building stands for something. Like the one where what Violet's standing in front of just has a flower on it, and it's actually, I made it purple and with a flower on because of Violet. These ones have just got hearts on for now, but they'll change, so they're related to the building it represents. And this one here, these would be the item shop and the blacksmith shop, and I think like Duncan would probably have a blacksmith tool out at the front maybe, and also probably a sign would go here with a sort of weapon icon on to show that it's the weapon shop, because there's obviously not a door on this building, so we couldn't fit that on here. So it's just thinking of concepts and how it could look when with all that extra detail added. Is that trunk green? It's sort of what I've been using, funnily enough. I'll have to show it to you guys because it's a really handy tool. There is a colour scheme palette generator called coolers.co. Is that how it's is that how it's spelled? And it sort of helps match up and find complemented colours that work together. So I've gone for the current colour actually is the colour of well, it's the month of the year on the calendar is old green. I think that's the current time it takes place in. So it's kind of this lime greenish colour palette right now. But the one good thing about this tile set, because it's limited colours, I think is 64-bit or something. It's less colours than the old ones, so that makes it so much easier to change the colours of. And the colours could change throughout the seasons of the tile set potentially too, depending on, so it fits with the colour of what the sun is that month. Because in the world building we made, we said that spring is the greens, winter's the blues, and there's this sort of change of colours for this. So that was an idea, just so we could have different aesthetics and palettes as well over time, depending on what time of year it is as well. It just seems too green on the trunk, yeah. So it's actually, if we get colours up, let's get we'll pick that. So that is the hex value. Oh no, let's go on, what's the website name? I've got to copy and paste that. It actually tells you what the colour name is as well on here. I've got so many tabs open. So it's army green. It's like it's a definite like deep green, the tray, and I purposely did that so that the it would have like a greenish tint to it, because it's the it's spring, and the tint of the trunk would change between seasons. Like it might have a more reddish tint to it in autumn, but that's something to experiment with over time. I think I wanted it to sort of look old and worldly as well, and sort of those trees were sort of they'd been there a long time as well. So I didn't want the trunk colour to look too like new. But as we move to the farmlands, the trunks will probably change, because we're going to move to Father Maple, and he's going to be a slightly different colour palette to the others. Hi, Forgotten, how you doing? It's good to see you. Kay, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. How are you doing, Forgotten, as well? Oh my goodness, I appreciate that, Kay. 13 months. Thank you. Let's get some hype in chat, everyone, for that generous sub. I just put the code into one of my programs, yeah. So, I mean, I spent a long time on this coolers thing, trying to match things up, because I'm a bit of a nerd for making sure colours don't look odd together. So, you can like set generate method, and where is it? Let me hide our Aseprite, because we can't see it when that's up. And it lets you click the type of colour wheel that you want. So I just grabbed some of the colours. This is what I did for picking the colours of the doors as well, because you can easily pick a colour that looks really bad. And doesn't go. So it lets you lock the colours you want, and then the locked ones stay, but the other ones change. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat if you have trouble picking colours, if you're indecisive and you think that colour looks strange, I'm not sure about that. It makes sure to keep them looking cool and nice. It seems like it gave you a monochromatic scheme. You've used the site before, yeah. So this one's complimentary, but there's a few, so it lets you have it set as how you want. It even lets you explore other people's colour palettes as well. So yes, but yeah. So originally these trees that I've got on Aseprite here were actually like a really boring brown, and I actually purposely made them a bit green so I could blend them a bit better. But I do know what you mean. Maybe we could bring in a little bit more brown. That wouldn't hurt. I looked at the mood board of what we've got, some of these trees are different colours. You got some sort of brown looking ones. This one's like a very beigey sort of tree. This one, I don't even know what colour that is. But yeah, the more duller colours definitely give the impression, like this one here as well, of being like more old. And I think like the old lakefall tree, and in general the trees of Everbloom in that area in particular having that sort of old look about them, like they've stood there for some time. It is a sort of style, sort of good colour style. So I didn't want the trunks looking too like bright and beautiful. You could make the tree trunks brown and add a bit of moss on them. That one tree is like a sycamore. Yeah, so what I was thinking with the, oh, where's our big tree? Let's move down. Need to get Aseprite up again. I started to put some holes into the middle sections of the leaves and like show the layers underneath for some detail. A bit like I've already done on the small tree in sections. I wanted to play around with that a bit more and just make the tree look a bit more layered and, you know, thick, like a bit less flat. So that's kind of my next goal, to work on the tree leaves, because that's it, like at its most basic flat shape, and I just went round with some like leaf shapes, and then I just built on top of that with getting the greens lighter each time, and I started getting a slightly lighter green as well, but that's not finished yet. So yeah, I'm gonna do the same with this tree too, and we'll see what happens, but it'll evolve. There'll probably be a lot of change and progression over time with it too as we mess around. But yeah, that's a plan as well, like making the tree slightly different and adding moss, because the moss might not stand out on this colour. When we might want a bit of contrast, but that's definitely something on the cards. Let's get our tasks thingy majiggy up again. I've got vines and moss here as one of the things to do, and the moss could go on things like the trees. It could also go on the cliffs. Maybe we could have some vines on the cliffs just to make them look a little bit more like they've stood there for a while and the plant life has just took over on them and that. Hi Savian, how you doing today? And today's my birthday. Happy birthday to you. That's awesome. If you're doing anything special, happy birthday. Is there any place to see your mood board? Have I shared this? I can't remember if I did. Let me look. Okay, I'm just having a look. It's on Draw.io, the mood board is. And I'm looking to see, it's loading at the moment. It's just a massive loading screen. But I'll see if I can send that to you. Share. Copy link. Only people added can open with this link. Okay, so what does that do, folks? I hope that works. I have no idea what that's gonna send you to, but I'm hoping it'll send you to the mood board. You'll also see Carol the Barrel's angry expression mood board as well, because that's also there, because we use the same board for that. You could have some unusually colourful mushrooms on the trees and moss too. That's a good plan too. Let's just make some notes here, because I like the suggestions, folks. If there's any sort of aesthetic or anything that you think could be fitting, feel free to say, and I may add it to the list of what's to come. But like, this is a process. Like this whole tile set is going to evolve through time. Like even when we release Playable Build version 0.1, it'll probably, you know, it'll just be not much different to how it looks now. Probably a bit of extra detail by then. I might have finished the leaves and detail on the trunks by then, and maybe a bit more leaves on the grass as well. But anything like that's like super ambitious and fancy, it'll slowly evolve through time. I can't really put a time on when it'll evolve, because I'm going to take each week as it comes and slowly add more, and I'm going to save the old screenshots and compare, you know, do a before and after over the weeks, and that'll be really cool as well. And conversely, most of the trunk could be green with just a few patches of knot moss. Yeah, I mean, it's all about experimentation. I can see myself sharing screenshots and maybe doing polls as well on which one do you prefer, this or that one. There'll probably be many polls on different looks for the forest with what we can go for, because it can be quite an indecisive thing with the aesthetics to decide which one you want to go for. Hi Dave, how are you doing today? It's awesome to see you. How are things? Welcome to our special reveal milestone stream. We have just revealed some new environment art. But yes, it's the new environment art. I'd even admit myself that the old tile set's better. Rex actually says he prefers this new one, but because he's being sweet. But there's far less detail on this new one than on the old one. It's got a bit of a way to go to catch up, but I think there's way more promise with this new one. I think the sort of potential for it's greater than the old one, because it's stylized and allows for some simple sort of assets if we want to have some more basic shapes, but it also allows for detail too if I want to go there, if you know what I mean. So it's the ideal balance. Whereas that old tile set, it was very painterly. There was a bazillion colours on it. It wasn't a limited pixel art palette, so it was almost impossible to change the colours of the seasons without it looking a bit. So yes, it's a bit more. It's just cool to say I'm doing it, you know, as well, and to say it's custom, because even if it's really basic, it's still better than, you know, something everyone else uses, right? And hi Rose, yeah, I'm trying to remember what the old tile set looks like. I think you can still go on the press kit on the website and see the old screenshots, because I haven't yet changed them on there. Yeah, the old late fall tree's a little baby compared to the new late fall tree. The new late fall tree's a giant with a very thick trunk. But the face, we can do a new face for him, one that looks more like Yorosar, the elven god. And yes, and did I miss the big reveal? You were a little bit late, forgotten, but we're celebrating the reveal the whole stream, so it's better late than never. But all you need to do is go on the website and you'll see it. It's just a new there's new screenshots there, new tile set, a worse tile set arguably, because this is me doing this art, whereas the person that did the old tile set was a professional artist. But it wasn't me, so I never got the fulfillment from it. I always felt a bit like, oh, I'm not really, this game isn't really all mine, because it's not my art. And I'd see screenshots of other people's RPG Maker games and they all had the same trees, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel unique. Because the one time was when I saw someone actually have the Lightfall tree, the exact same Lightfall tree, and a screenshot of their game, and I was like, yeah, I got a little bit prideful and a little bit protective, I think. So it's nice to go down the exclusive route. But again, I utter that this is early foundation and we're working on this detail will get added over time. Because I've only been working on this since the house move. So it's not like it's going to be 100% done overnight. But the base assets are there, like, you know, the main assets, the rocks, the trees, they're just not quite 100% finished. Meant the style you're going with is nice. Yeah, I think I'm more comfortable with it personally. The painterly style, although that can be nice, I can't work with it, and I find it very hard to edit because it's not my comfort zone. So when it came to like thinking of new assets, like for example, when we think ahead to the swamp area, when we make the underground theme park, for example, the abandoned theme park, now that is going to be some ambitious assets, let's face it. And it would have been assets that would have been impossible to reproduce in that default RPG Maker RTP style because they don't exist. There's no such thing as theme park assets that were made by the RPG Maker community. Unless I commission them, of course, then someone probably would have done them. But yeah, we're talking getting myself into debt for that. And really, it's just more challenging and fulfilling to sort of go the step of just doing it yourself, right? And with the new style, because I'm more comfortable, it's gonna just be more possible and easier for me to do assets from scratch that wouldn't have been possible before. Looky good stuff. Thank you. Hi Hinel, how you doing? It's good to see you. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna try and make it look painterly, because it's not. I want to most of all stay with my comfort zone, because I've never been a painter. I've always been more of a stylized artist. So it's more about just developing that style further and getting a bit more ambitious with that over the course of the months. And that'll be interesting to see how that goes. How many to add explosions to the game? They might be coming soon, Hinel. Maybe soon. So yeah, I was nervous because I was like, I was like looking at it last night and I was like, yeah, this is not finished. So part of me was like, is it even worth revealing yet? Because it's clearly not there just yet, which is why I haven't posted it on Twitter yet, because it's not quite ready. It's not at the stage. But I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do it, because at the end of the day, we're only on version 0.1 at the moment. Other games that are at this stage are at the same, aren't they? They still have like placeholder art there, or just very early stage art that they build up to over time. Concerned 8 being one of them, of all people. Have you guys seen his early Stardew Valley art compared to how it looks now? There was a lot of evolution with his, that's for sure. Hi Julian, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Not the crying red emoji, the one that breaks my heart. So yeah, folks, what's next on the list? So let's get Aseprite up again. I had it up for a bit, but it's gone now. We're going to just have a chat about what's on the agenda with next steps with the environment art today. So I want to do some trunk texture. That was something I wanted to mess around with. I do want to add some leaves, like framing, bordering the bottom of this tree trunk as well, because I think that'll look more natural, like blended into the ground as well. So that's on the cards too. And the face, we can make the face larger as now as well. We have more room to make a larger face for the lakefall tree. And it'll be we had the freedom to do the features we like. So I can see us doing that on a stream. We'll like get some sort of looks for what it could look like. I started messing with a bit of texture, like I was doing a few little bits and bobs, but I wasn't 100% sold on it. I was just playing around. So it's probably something I'm going to just mess about with over time until I find a sort of cool look. And like we say, sometimes we might have polls. I might like do a few different texture types and be like, okay, which one's the best? And then put a poll up in the Discord, because you can go any direction with texture, can't you? Like with wood, you can, I mean, just looking at our mood boards or other sort of pixel art references can help inspire textures as well. What else? The doors as well. Like this one, one of these will be the door to the tavern, for example. So we might want an icon that represents food or drink. A beer icon or something, and we can change it to that. Oh yes, and the interiors as well is another thing. So that's an interesting thing. I'm going to experiment with interiors over the next week or two, actually, because I'm sort of thinking of the aesthetic for how to sort of make the interiors look, but I've got a few ideas. But right now I'm focusing on the exterior. But there's tons of layers here, everyone. It's a bit crazy how many there are. Oh yeah, so what it is, this shadow here, the darkest shadow is the same colour as the darkest leaf. I kind of wanted to do a blending, but we can always do a hue shift to sort of, as the tree gets lighter, because when we add more texture to it, it'll probably get lighter in some spots anyway. When we add a third layer to this, we'll probably have a lighter version of this colour, but we could always do a hue shift where it shifts from being a bit green to a bit more yellowy brown or something like that, because they can look pretty nice when you sort of change the hue gradually as you make the as you add layers to an asset. Okay, so I'm trying to think if there's anything more to say on this one. I'm gonna just do some like texture on the leaves soon. I think that's gonna be the next thing, and then I might work on the trunk texture after that. Let me get up some of the other tile sets. I've still the tile sets are still named after the old ones, because I have to manually edit them in Tiled, those names, otherwise it'd mess them up in Tiled. And I'm going to just show you all of them a bit at a time. Oh no, that's a tragic emoji, Julian. This one's just the path and grass bits, and obviously I want to add some mud texture here. I want to make it all look muddy and textured, but it's all just plain colour at the moment. I did like build up some leaf borders where there's dark leaves at the bottom and they slowly get lighter and lighter, and all the paths are in, because this is all the paths and the different sort of versions of paths, and I think I want to add a bit of variation in the leaf frames, like make some of them look like they've been trampled on a little bit. I think that would make the forest look a bit more lived in. So maybe I can say use this section here. Just change the shape of them a bit, and it kind of breaks away that repetitiveness a touch as well to do something like that, and then do that, copy and paste them to all the others. And where's the layered version? Because I want to show you the layered version. Yeah, here's the live version. I've got all the characters here because let's hide the grid. I wanted to, obviously I placed them on the map, didn't I, for some of the screenshots. And yeah, it looks really weird when you take all the layers off. So yeah, I wanted to blend it. I didn't want it to look like just one flat colour of grass, so I put dark underneath, and then put medium green and then light green. Just make it look a bit more like thicker, the layer, and have a bit more depth to it. That was the plan there. But I think what's missing with this one is some texture on the mud and a bit of difference in the pattern, like the odd stud on leaf and a bit of trampled look or something, or at least maybe a leaf that is a different shape now and again. So I'll mess around with that at some point. It's just prioritising what's most important at the moment. Now another one, the cliff one now. What is that area? What, this one? This one is the paths and the grass. If you look at the screenshots, you might notice where that one is. And yeah, so it's literally just the paths and grass edges of the paths, and also the cliff edges as well. But the cliff edges are on this tile set instead. So yes, that's the only grass that we've got at the moment, those sections. What I'm intending to do is add like some like grass bunches and scatter them across the empty grass sections over time, just to add a bit more texture and foliage in the grass, so it looks a bit more busy. Because the old tile set had that, and it definitely made the forest look very overgrown and old, lived in, and messy, which was good. Okay, so this is the PNG, isn't it? Oh no, so I need to get my rock. I keep hiding Aseprite because when I open it shows my file explorer when I open this, and there's some stuff like, you know, file path names that are private, so I'm hiding that bit. So where is here they are. Here they are, the rocks. Here they all are separate. I basically made a bunch of rocks, and it was all get rid of them so they're at the most flat shape. There's like a bazillion layers. I don't like to merge them because then you lose them and then you regret it. So yeah, I just literally was messing about with shapes because I was messing about with rocks for a while, folks. If I get up some of my old versions, or some of them were horror stories, some of the rock cliffs I attempted to do. I think I deleted them because they were that bad, but basically I'll just describe them. The cliffs clearly looked tiled and very repetitive in pattern and almost unnatural. So what I ended up deciding would be better would be larger rocks that almost didn't look tiled. They give the impression that they weren't tiled. So I made a bunch of rocks. I added a bit of shadow on them because I thought, yeah, they need to at least look a bit less flat. And I just grabbed those shapes and just stuck them all together. And I made a repeated pattern of them, but it's tiled by two tiles, if that makes any sense. I don't think it does, but the repeated pattern is there every other tile, basically, like they're all the same. But the one in between is different, and that way it doesn't look too repeated. Otherwise, if we just use the one, it'd be like really weird looking. So it just makes it look a bit less tiled that way. And it took loads of time to organise that because it was just so, like, you know, you had to get it all in the right position so the gaps didn't look weird or anything. But yeah, it took about, I must have done 7 or 8 different versions, and the very early ones looked very crappy. Some of these rocks look a bit different. Like I did shorten these ones on the other tile. But what I'm planning to do is do some grass growing and covering the bottom ones, because I think that'd help it look more natural. Because the grass looks a bit flat for sure at the moment. But I do like how they overlap at the top. That was okay. I like the rock shapes. So the rock's green. The rocks, they are a green hue. It's like, I had like a colour, like they started off as grey, I think, or brown, I can't remember what. And I wanted to make them I wanted to make it look like they were part of the same image, the same lighting and the same world, because when the colour looks too different, the assets don't even look like they belong together sometimes. So yeah, I wanted to bring in a bit of a green tint or hue, just a touch, it's like when we moved to the farmlands, that's a more autumny, reddy yellow orangey colour scheme, so whatever rocks are there will probably have a slight reddish hue to them. Yeah, I mean, the colour scheme we can adjust as well over time, but yeah. Okay, so rocks are there. There's a little sparkle on one of them. I was thinking of animating that now and again, like having that sparkle animate. I thought that would be cool because you can do that in tiled. And next bit, because I think Everbloom Forest needs something a bit magical and pretty about it. And the rocks kind of look like they've got a bit of a shine to them now. They're not dirty rocks. But when the moss and vines are on them, they'll probably look a bit more dirty then. So, yeah. Now the next tile set. Yeah, the water. So on some of the screenshots, if you've had a look at some of them on the website. There's some underwater rock ones, because I wanted the rocks to blend in underwater rather than the water just to be blue and not see anything under it. So that's how the water looked originally, just blue, nothing else. So I overlaid the cliff tiles over and just like put a multiply blending layer on it and lowered the opacity a bit. I wanted them to still be strong and visible. I didn't want them to be too faded, but you know, a little bit darker and under there. And the water edges are there too, and that animates. That's why we've got multiple ones, because the water edge changes, it like moves. There's an animation there, which when I do a video or GIF, you'll see that. There's a lot of different variations as well, because there's some where there's the edge is visible. There's a black edge and a blue edge, because for some of the sections the rock is on the edge, so you can't have any of the black be visible. But even with the water one, we can add a bit more detail on the water, what do you call it, the lowest layer of the water. We could always add a bit more detail there. I did do a few little bits here, like there's a few sort of water effects, and it animates a bit. This is actually the waterfall foam, but I want to make a bigger one. That's fine for the small waterfall size, but I want to make a big foamy one for the large waterfall. And that waterfall is going to, of course, have like a waterfall animation at some point, which hasn't yet been done, but that is on the list of things to do too. And is there another one? I can't remember if there is another one now. I think the other one is just the tree one. Okay, so these need changing position, because look at the mess of this tile set. There's like a big gap here. I can't remember why that happened. I think something happened to make me have to move them, but I can just move that closer if I change it. I do like the little house shapes. Yeah, it was a challenge, you know, like, because they need to be big enough, like wide enough to, you know, fit beds in, you know, to make them look like believable as something that has furniture inside. It couldn't be like stick thin things. So I think they're 5 tiles wide. I believe they're 5 tiles wide. So I think that's fine, because it's only a small humble inn anyway. It never was going to be an inn with like a ton of beds in. So yes, and it made sense to have it give the impression of being an old tree that got chopped down and has now been, you know, transformed into a building. I think that fits with the whole vibe of Lake Fallen Everbloom, rather than having like proper buildings. As we move into the farmlands and the city, we're going to start to have some more, you know, shacks and huts and things like that at the farm, and then as we move into the city, you're going to get better architecture. So that's going to be fun to do, but like, you know, that's down the road, and by then maybe I'll be a pro pixel artist after all the practice I've had. So that will be fun. It's exciting. Send you a message that you can read after stream. Sure, Van. Sure. They are cute. Yeah, so, you know, this is something that, considering I've only done this in the whole chaos of a house move, and this is very the most ambitious thing I've ever done with pixel art. I'm pretty proud of it, because it's very, very I think the style is there, and although there's a long way to go in regards to detail, because I do want it to have detail, I mean, if I wanted to, I could just really have it with flat colour and be like, that's fine. Plenty of games have basic assets, but I do want to like sort of stretch it and see how it can evolve. And I think it's got a lot of promise and potential, and it's very doable to do, because we're still in version 0.1. It's not like we're on release and it's like we've got to just settle. There's still a long way to go. So I can see myself putting in a bit of a dozen or so hours work every now and then in doing this when I fancy it. Some nights I'll work on game dev and scenes if I'm in the mood for it, and other nights I'll work on pixel art, depending if I'm in the mood for it. And I think that bit of variety as well in the game dev helps a lot, because it keeps things fresh and fun. Hi Barb, how you doing? It's good to see you. How are you doing? Hope you're having a fab day. So yeah, I've given you a little browse of how the tile sets look. And I'm trying to think of the next step now, because we've got our list of what to do, and next week, I mean, we've got our list of things to do. So we've got to make sure screenshots, of course, into the coming soon Steam page launch end of June. So I mean, if I wanted to, I could literally upload the screenshots on the website and just send it off now. You know, I could just send it tonight, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna give it till the end of the month. I'm gonna work a bit more on the assets between now and the end of the month, and then I'm gonna send it off. I'm thinking, but before the page gets sent, maybe have the trees have a little bit more detail on them by then. Maybe even, yeah, a bit more. I definitely think a bit more. But when the Steam page is up, you can continuously update the screenshots. So that will be great, because the screenshots are going to get updated every couple of weeks or so. There'll be something different to the art that's something being added, or something would have been edited. So I'll just continuously keep updating them. And it's cool to have something to share on social media as well with something like this over time as it evolves, because it's more interactive then with everyone out there in the world, and it can help a bunch with things like screenshot Saturday and things as well, to have things like that to show. Variety will make fun. It does, and I mean, it's taken me a long time to go this route. For months, like up to a year, I've had the attitude of, oh, well, I'm never gonna do all the art, or I'm never even gonna do a big percentage of the art, because it's too much. There's already too much to do in game dev. That was my attitude before. But this is something I take really seriously, right? You guys know how much I've committed myself to this. It's like my little life goal. So why not go all out, right? If it means that much to you, and if it's that important, it's worth putting it all in. And something like pixel art is very therapeutic. It's actually a break from the stress. So anything like that helps. If you feel like, I'm not in the mood to do the game dev today, it's a bit intense, a bit noisy, I'll be like, yeah, I'll just do a bit of pixel art. That's nice and relaxing. The silhouette of the trees is very strong. The shading, I'm not as sure about those, since it's still in progress. It's hard to tell. Yeah, so it's definitely only got, let's get the Aseprite thing up again. Let's have a look at the layers we've got. It's only got 2 layers, hasn't it? No, it's sort of 2, 3 if you count the darkest one. Yeah, 3 layers this tree has so far. So yeah, by the time details are edited, we could have 6, 7 layers. There could be like double the layers we've already got, and it's going to get lighter each time. Like this tree base is pretty dark at the moment because we've only got the base shadow layers down, but we'll like make it like I'll work on adding a 4th layer in soon, and that'll be light, a little bit lighter than this one. So it has a bit of a greeny hue on it, so we could always do a hue shift where we make it a bit more. If we go on this, can you guys see that? Yeah, the HSL one. This is just very rough, but we could do that, make it lighter, but move it across more to the yellow tint, and then, you know, let's just do a bit of a messy example. I don't think this is the right colour because I've just done it. I haven't really spent much time properly, but you know, like, see what I mean? Like slowly build all that detailing over time, whatever texture we decide to go for. And it's gonna make the tree, like a few of you have said, oh, it looks a bit green, it looks a bit, but yeah, it probably looks a bit flat in colour at the moment because it's lacking the detail and texture and layers. But I think as we sort of build on it, it'll just come more to life by then. So it's just thinking of the texture shape to go for that's the thing now, I guess, because when it comes to trees you can go many routes. I was trying, like I showed something a little bit earlier, I went for something like that, like, you know, that sort of look with the wood, but I wasn't 100% sure. I want to try a few different approaches, because there's also, you can do it with solid colour rather than lines as well, so, and make it blend in a bit more naturally, of course. So I'm going to look at some reference images. I'll probably put together a mood board of tree textures, and that could help a lot with where to go with that. The trunk highlight, yeah, exactly. So when we add the highlight, there's going to be this yellowish, like maybe not exactly this colour, but you know, something that's lighter than that goes and blends nicely, but has a slight more yellowish hue to it. So you'll notice then it'll start to lose its green, its overwhelming green. And then when we add moss on it, it'll contrast a bit more. The moss won't blend in too strongly. I'm at the point of playtesting with a mod I've been working on, and I've been working on it entirely alone since January. So seeing you have all the input with your community makes me very happy for you. It's hard doing it all alone. I'll thank you, Maximum, for the encouragement and kind words. I appreciate. Yeah, it's definitely a task, put it that way, and I feel like that's what it's all about, though, isn't it? Because nothing worth doing comes easily, and it's very exciting, although it's daunting, because you know, something like this is, I mean, I was like when I was like looking through what I'd done, I was like, you know, it's not quite there yet, like to showcase or anything, so I'm not going to put it on Twitter or anything because it's not finished. But and I started to like feel like, oh no, it's not good enough and that, but then I was like, no, that's rubbish. I was like, I've only been doing this since like I've just moved house, and I've not really had much time to, so the fact I've done this during a house move is an achievement, even though it's nowhere near there yet. And make sure to get some trees from above images to match the top down perspective. Yeah, that's good as well, because so many references, you could think, oh yeah, that looks nice, but it's a completely different perspective and angle, and the lighting's different as well. So as for lighting, I'm sort of going for what's easiest, like directly from above the light. So as you can see, I've slowly started to attempt adding a few little bits of light to the top of the door and the windows. I think it makes more sense doing the light from the top rather from the side, especially because the characters, where are they? The characters themselves are like that, like as you can see with Nigel. The light comes from above on the strangers, so obviously we want to match that and make it consistent, and make sure it all works. So and yeah, I mean, over time we can even get a shadow in for the tray as well, because we haven't got any shadows down yet, of course, like but I'm trying to think how we could approach. Let me just briefly flatten this, flatten visible. Make a new layer. Make it somewhat opaque, but obviously it's all going to be one colour, we can't have it coloured in. So and then we might be able to change the perspective and angle and then have a sort of shadow, but I don't even know where to go with that for now. I'll have to look at some reference images. But that, I'd say things like shadows of objects, if we were going to go down that route. Some games go for it and have the shadows to give that sort of illusion of depth and more detail, but others don't. Not every game has them. But I think it looked quite nice if it did. Probably had a lot to it. But I'd say that's a later step, a much later step. So, I mean, if any of you guys get any reference images as well, feel free to send them over, because this is a work in progress, of course. And what's here now might look different at another point in time. I mean, I think I'm happy. I'm happy with the style. I think I'm comfortable with this root and this base, this foundation. But there could be a time when I'm like, actually, just alter that just a touch and change it so it's like that instead. So it's going to be cool to look at before and after pictures, you know, as time goes on as well. But the way it is, like the state of it at the moment, like you've seen the screenshots on the website, I'll send the website up again so anyone coming in can see. I'm able to carry on with scene work now, because previously I was working on the scene work earlier in the spring, and I really want to get into that scene work again very consistently now, because I want to get those done. But previously when I was working on the scenes, I was doing it on the old tile set, and it was very hard to get into doing it knowing that it was going to get changed. So it's going to be fun to see the scenes on this new tile set, even though it's an unfinished tile set. And it'll be even cooler to see this tile set slowly evolve and even more, getting more detail over the weeks and months as we make scenes. Alright, so back to the to-do list. So make sure screenshots of course some of the coming soon Steam page launch end of June. Okay, so I'm gonna wait a few more weeks. Like I said, I could have sent it off them now, but I want to wait. I want to get a bit more detail in the trees, I think, maybe in some other areas, maybe too, before it gets submitted. I was aiming for my birthday at the end of the month, the 24th, as a release. I think it would be a really cool birthday present to have the Steam page launch on my birthday or around my birthday. So 1, 2, that's 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks. So we got, I'm gonna do a bit of pixel art still on the side while I work on the scenes, getting some scenes put together. That'll be my 2 tasks for the month, scenes and pixel art. And then, because doing the scenes will allow for some video footage and some screenshot footage with dialogue and characters interacting as well for screenshots too, which is always good. And then when all the scenes are done, when we've got to the point where we've killed the fruits, that's like the most recent dialogue we've done, part of the story, then I'll implement the battle system. Like, I'm not gonna pressure myself to get a super elegant battle system working and all that. Just a very, very basic battle system at this point for the first playable build. And again, like the pixel art, the battle system will be something that evolves and gets better throughout each of the alpha builds. Oh my goodness, thank you, the gig for that raid. I appreciate it. How are you doing? How was your stream? Appreciate you stopping by. How was Minecraft? Tell us about your stream. Welcome. Alright, so, oh yeah, and that's another thing, the HD version of the barrel character sprites. Now, I would say it doesn't matter so much to do those because it's only Carol who's in the game right now, but that's a lie because there's a flashback scene coming up. So we do actually have to do them. The flashback scene is main quest 2 early on, so, and also I'm sort of showing those barrels off the sprites on the Steam page as well. I've sort of got them all lined up next to each other because they're very worthy of showing off. So yeah, that's the art side of things for now. And the battle system, that's not yet. I almost feel like graying that out because we're not doing battle system until we've done the scenes. I'm going to grey this out as well for now. I mean, bits of this will be done obviously before first playable build, but it's not priority for the next few weeks. This is priority for sure. I'm gonna grey out this one just for now. I mean, I definitely am really looking forward to creating more episode 1 NPCs, that's for sure. But I think make sure we've got a sort of outline of the characters we've got right now first. And we sort of already did that, but we'll do it in a bit more detail at some point. And that's definitely important too, because it's going to be really useful to know that story outline for those quests. And this is important too. We'll be definitely going back to the world building. And this is cool stuff to do if we want to have something different to do as well. So, and we might make that a task for next week, folks. Met and Vagabond's characters. We'll see how it goes. But it might be. If nothing pops in my mind that's important to do, then that will be one of the streams we do next week. Having some bugs with it, but still fun. Oh no, silly bugs. I hope they go away. But I'm glad it's still fun. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so back to the to-do list for the environment art. Right, so we're gonna work on, which one are we gonna do first? I'd say the trees. So I'm gonna unbold those for now. I'm gonna make this big because that's what we're gonna be working on, trees. Part 2, because part 1 was just, getting the base shaping. As Matt says, he likes a silhouette. Yes. it's always good to get a good base shape before you jump into adding the detail, because why would you want to add detail on a shape that's bad, right? But it's oh gosh, let's get the layers back. I accidentally flattened this image because I was testing getting a shadow. There we go. Let's see it at its most basic. Let's get all the layers hidden. Oh my gosh, it looks strange. So yeah, this is the silhouette of them all. How cute. Right, so yeah, so then I was the next step of adding the actual like tree, where it begins to look more like a tree, like the sections of the tree, the vertical sections of the tree. So it is green because I'd like just picked, I wanted to blend in with the green that I'd used before, but with the intent I'm making a hue shift as it gets lighter. So this is like getting slightly less green, and then it'll get even less green as the highlights come in. So yeah, then that's that. I found it a bit, I was trying to figure out how to do the right shadow for the branch bit. I wasn't 100% sure on that, that I'm sold on that. But with this section, I just wanted to add depth so that it slowly starts to form a shape as we add the layers. So that's as far as that's got. So there's definitely a lot more to do. And I want to make a mood board, folks. I want to find some tree textures, because it's deciding the route to go with trees. There's so many. I'm indecisive about the type of tree texture that will really set this off. I had a little try. I did a bit like this. I put wood highlight with a question mark because I wasn't sure if that's like that because there was a window in the way. Let's get the windows back. Needs to go under the windows. So that was just a try. I wanted to see what light looked like coming from the left side on them, but that was just one concept. I want to try a few different ones. Deciding the route to go on the tree textures. Yes, that's a pun. Roots and rumours. That's a nice start. Yeah. So, I think the next step is definitely to make a little bit of a reference mood board so I can get the idea, and then I'm going to just go for it. I might do a few different versions, and then I might ask you guys what one's the best, maybe even put up a poll, because and then there's the leaves to do as well. So where's the, there we go, there's the wood backs. So yeah, I literally just did the whole layering of it, slightly gets lighter and lighter with so to make the trees look not flat. And with these ones, because it's such a small area and they're just like little bunches, they don't look too bad like that. But these other trees definitely need some something that's a little bit more messy. I don't know if mess is the right word, but it's about, I think it may look a little bit too, so I was trying to add a bit more texture because I think it's that it looks a bit flat here on the lighter section. And I'm going to just experiment with different ways to do leaves as well. So yes, leaves and trunks, that's my current priority. I could definitely be like, oh, I'm going to do the mud, I'm going to do the waterfall, now I'm going to do the grass, but you can't do everything, so that will be what I work on after. The rocks I think aren't too bad, they have a little bit more detail on them than the trees do at current, so I'm going to leave rocks for now, but I do intend for the rocks to have things like moss, vines on them as well, to get that really sort of forest that's been lived in look. One thing, oh yes, back on the subject of the tree trunks, another thing to consider is definitely how we're going to approach the line art of the face as well. I found a couple of reference images on faces for the tree, so I'm going to just see if I've still got them. There's some inspiration. Pinterest is a good one for references, I found, and Google Images can be as well. So let me see if I can mark, because there was a couple I had, and I thought, oh yeah, a tree with a face, that's a good reference for us. Right, let's get paint up. We'll before we end the stream, we'll get some tree face references, because I think that's going to be something I do while doing the texture, because I'm going to want that face to blend in with the texture on this tree. Where's paint? I really like the style you've gone with. Yeah, is there any games you think it's similar to, folks? As I actually was trying to make it distinct from other games, so that was kind of a goal. I was like, I don't want it to look like Stardew Valley. I was like, I wanted to separate myself from it looking like a top-down game of someone else's by mistake, where you could mistake it for being another game. So I think that distinctiveness is important. That was kind of the purpose of why I wanted to do a custom tile set in the first place, because I started getting peeved off at seeing other screenshots with the same tile set as the one I use, which happens. I mean, it's really cool that free tile sets and resources are out there to use with game dev, because it helps people, you know, get a game up and running considerably fast. But you know, in the end, especially if you're very protective over your work, that can start to grate on you a bit when you realise that it's not completely unique, and it is unique now. Nobody can steal this, otherwise I get to sue them. I'm sure there's some that are similar, but it feels unique and clearly it's something you come to yourself rather than being too heavily influenced by another artist. Yeah, I mean, like, it's very important to look at reference images, and I'm gonna make so many mood boards, folks, of other so that we can, because it's almost, I find it really hard, as I'm not really a natural artist, so I find it really hard to when it comes to say something like tree texture, I can't just do it from the top of my head and be like, okay, there we go, tree texture done. Like, I need a reference to go from. So that's why I want to make that a reference mood board, and that it gives me something to go off then. But at the same time, just because I've got a reference mood board doesn't mean I'm gonna like copy it and like, you know, make it the exact clone of what's on the reference image, because then yeah, you risk it looking too similar to someone else's work. So it'll be like you just get it, use it as a sort of guide, so you know the shape, the kind of approach, the technique people use to sort of make it. Essay, what's the essay command now? I'm not sure, but whatever it is, we don't have it. Hello, how are you today? Hi Marcus, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. But yeah, I mean, this is just, it's exciting because I know there's going to be a long journey ahead, and we're in June now, right? It makes me very excited to imagine what the screenshots will look like by Christmas, like, you know. And I'm looking forward to seeing the before and after and see how it evolves. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good as well, Marcus. The project has took what would you call it? It's took a turn today. It's took an ambitious turn for a solo developer, put it that way. Some people here might think I'm absolutely, you know, I'm mad for doing all this myself, and I've already got so much game dev to do. But like, I'm still very much a realist about this. I'm like, if I ever get in a situation where I need a bit of help, I'd still outsource somebody. If I'm like, okay, I need that asset, but this is a bit much for me and I don't have the time because I'm already doing this, then I'll just get the odd job commissioned. That's totally fine. But I like that I'm sort of taking the, you know, it's still mine, you know, it's still my sort of direction, and like, I'm doing it in a way, even if and I thought with the strict avatars walking around the bottom screen, you have stream avatars, and usually SA is the command to open up the user config for the views. Oh right, yes, it is stream avatars. It is, you are totally right. But I think I must have disabled the commands. I think it's because we have a whitelisted stream avatars. Like, not every viewer is on there. It's only the ones that have a character in the game. Oh, I got a character command. Once you've got 1,000 raindrops, you can have a character in the game. Type raindrops to see how many you have. Yeah, so yes, I've disabled them. Yeah, disabled the commands. Right, so I'm gonna just get some reference images, folks, of a couple of trees with faces. Because I'm thinking if we decide the route to go with the tree face, it's going to help sort of set in stone a texture idea for the tree trunk as well, because whatever approach design-wise I used to do the face on this tree here that's super zoomed, I'll use the same sort of technique to do the rest of the texture. So maybe it's better doing it that way round rather than doing the texture first and then leave the face to last and be like, oh no, but how do we do the face? So I'm just going to open Paint. I'm getting some references. If anyone else finds any references, feel free to add them too. Here we go. So here's the first one. This is Link, isn't it? I don't know if this is official Zelda art. I'm not a Zelda gamer actually, so I don't actually know if this is official Zelda game or not. It might be fan made. So that's one tree face. We're gonna get a few down. because I found a couple. Some are more detailed and fitting in with our art style than others. But I'm intrigued like how they do it, so I'll have a look. Look at all those raindrops. Let's make this one a bit bigger. Yeah, this one looks like just normal line art, doesn't it? Like they have just like drawn in the eyes and then they've just added the texture over it and on the rest of the tree. That's kind of what I was thinking, something of that nature. This one sort of has done something similar. So it might be a good idea to do the line art of the face first and then experiment with texture after, but we need to decide what the tree face is going to look like if that's the case, if we're going to do that job first. And there's another one that's got quite a different approach here. The face isn't even part of the tree, it's sort of like sticky, it's like a different material almost, like an actual face is coming out of that tree. So you see what I mean? There's like a lot of different, you know, we're not limited anymore to where we can take the face. We can like do the face we want, right? I think the saint is an older looking guy. Okay, so that's something to brainstorm as well, folks. So when we think of the tree, the Lightfall tree, we already know that it's the monument of Eurosar, an elven member of the pantheon. So the question is, are we going to make the face of this Eurosar's face? Maybe the face he had when he was much older or something, or because that's who it really is based on. I do agree that this tree is old and worldly and wise, and it's known for the wisdom. That's kind of the trope with it, isn't it? So maybe we should keep the moustache and have it have its moustache still. I think that definitely worked with the old one. The face of a bow but a tree. What's a bow? Oh my god, I feel like such a noob asking that. The only bow I know is a bow and arrow. And the question is, was the face created after Eurosar? Yeah, so should we open? I can't remember what the law was with that now, because it's been a while, hasn't it, since we did the Pantheon. I might have to get the Google sheet up, but because we're short of time, I'll have to check my notes after stream, I think. But from what I remember, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, because you might know the details better than me, from the world building streams, that he lived in Lakefall for some time, in the later part of his life. He was like, he like absorbed knowledge of herbalism and healing and all that kind of thing while he lived there, and then he passed away there for, you know, and then the people living there, the Fae or the elven folk, grew that tree in his memory exactly 10k years ago. And that's kind of the god, who he is, really, isn't it? When people go to the tree and worship that tree, it's him that it's really in honour of, and the scriptures are all written by him, and it's all sort of in his memory. he's their god, like that monument is their place of paying respects to him. So although we do know that that tree becomes sentient in the present day, and it does actually start talking and as if it's a living being, that sentient tree isn't Yorasa, like, obviously, because that sentient tree is just part of the spell, the magical spell that's brought Carol and the others to life. But the people, it's interesting, the perspective of people living in Lakefall might believe that it is him, or, you know, they might get, oh my goodness, the tree's talking. But that's another thing altogether, right? That there's no link between who everyone has grown up over the centuries believing and worshipping that tree from, and then it comes to life, but it isn't any link to Yorasa. But some people might kid themselves into believing that. Meaning, is it a natural face or is it carved? Yeah, so that's up to us. I mean, I imagined a carved face. That was one concept I had anyway, that somebody carved it in his memory, but it's not necessarily the case. It could be the case that something magical happened and the face is actually a real face, like a natural face, and isn't carved, which is why looking at these reference images has brought up some interesting sort of directions here, because that looks like these two here are carved faces and this is a natural face. So, well, I believe it's a natural face. It might be carved, but that clearly looks like a face coming out of the tree almost. So it's this aesthetic route wouldn't have crossed my mind until I saw this reference image. I'm also really loving the vines on this tree. I'm very inspired by that. I think that's really cool. Did the owls grow the face into the tree, or did an artist carve it? Yeah, so because the owls are magical, you know, we could always do something a bit out there if we wanted. We don't necessarily have to have traditional lore of that it was carved. We could have a magical reason for the face being there and it being an actual face. So that's, I mean, I'm up for sort of thoughts there with what you guys think there too. So obviously our old asset of the Lakefall tree was a carved face, because that was the only asset we had. That was the only asset we had, so we just had to make do. But this is why it's really cool to finally have a custom tosser, because we can potentially change that if we wish. We don't have to be restricted to sticking with a carved face if we feel like we don't have to go that route. Even if we do, then that's fine, but it's nice to have the sort of flexibility if we wanted to. Looking up tree with face, I'm seeing a lot of references of actual trees that were decorated and a few that happened to grow holes and knots with a face pattern. Oh, that's really cool, Matt. I'd be really interested in seeing those references myself, because I think it's going to really help the direction of where this tree goes, for sure. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. Because I think whatever face design we go for here, it's going to help inspire the route we take, the texture of the tree as well. I wouldn't like to do the texture and sort of like get myself into a corner and then be like, oh, well, the face is going to look weird with that texture. So I think it's good that we're considering both at the same time. And as for the other trees, I mean, the others are quite simple. This one is very standard tree, so that'll just have the texture on it. This will just have the texture on it, and so will this one. This is the complicated tree that's going to have the special feature at the end of the day. And there's going to be other trees. I mean, there's going to be smaller trees, and scattered around as well, which I obviously haven't done yet, that the other tile set did have. I've only done the big trees for now, and of course the normal tree. But I'll probably do some small versions of the tree. I might even do a variation of this one as well, just to break things up a bit when the time comes, so it's not the same tree that's everywhere. But that'll come later. Any extra tree assets I'll do once we've got set on the texture and final look of the trees. I think that the owls might have magically grew it in that direction. You think? Yeah. So when you think of a face then, Van, do you imagine this one on the where's it gone? Oh gosh, my overlay's gone there. When we look at these three, which one is more fitting for the sort of style, do you reckon? Because this one here is definitely the old one. We have all this one as well, the carved look. But this is a really interesting one, this face coming out the wood, where it's an actual face. And it's like the tree box almost sort of framing the face. And then there's all this, these vines around it. And I like this tree too because it's huge, it's massive, just like ours. It's very thick. And those are kind of creepy and might be for Father Maple Face. Oh yeah, Father Maple Face as well. That's going to be a fun one because we never designed Father Maple on the old tile set. We actually never did him. So when it comes to doing Father Maple, I think he's going to be a variation of this one myself. Like, we might just modify the silhouette slightly, like make it a bit slimmer, because I think Father Maple's not as old, of course, as this tree. He's the second largest tree in the forest, though, so it'll have to be thicker than this one. Because obviously these trees are quite thick, aren't they? When they weren't chopped down, they'd have been quite thick. But this is even thicker. Like, I'm not sure how. This is 5 tiles wide. Let me get the grid. Show grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 7, but I'm not counting the edges. But I will this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 tiles wide. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles wide. So maybe Farmer Maple's more the size of this one. But he's a grown tree. He hasn't been chopped down like these ones have. And he's a maple tree too, so maybe his leaf shapes would be a little bit different. And of course he's going to be more red, like autumny, well, maple coloured in colour scheme. Like the colour scheme's going to go from the green of like fall to the it's slowly sort of transitioning into the yellowish orange colours of the farmland as we go to Farm Maple. So it's going to be like a really cool variation, and obviously we'll do a Farm Maple face for him too. Hi Looking Glasses, how you going? It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing good. How have things been since I've been back? Since I've been away? I couldn't get my words out then. I'm going to look at those references that Met sent. So like when I click on links on here, it just opens Internet Explorer, which is always something that's annoying. So I'm going to actually copy and paste them manually and look at them. Well, if it's stylized off yours, so then the face would be more ethereal. Yeah, so I guess it's we got to start thinking what Urusar looks like, and if they based it on him, which I'm pretty sure they would have, because that's what makes sense story wise. It would be a bit random if they made the face was of anyone else. And I'm also talking as if they've carved it still, like it's magical. We got to think of the workings of how it actually worked law-wise, if it wasn't carved, if there was a normal magical method it was created. But yeah, it's like thinking what he looked like, and did they do, does he look old or does he look young? That's kind of the thing as well, because elves kind of have this sort of I mean, they're not immortal, but I could imagine them having a youthful sort of almost immortal look about them even throughout their life. But I might be wrong. We haven't thoroughly fleshed out elven lore yet. Maybe they do age. There's thoughts there to think about, whether these elves gonna have the same look throughout their lives, or do they age just like humans would. Could be more like an elven being more at the body, as if they prepared for its huge size, and it's possible that it is like a column in the tree. Interesting. So if we look at the columns, because that's what I did start on, haven't I? I've done the columns here. These 3 columns in the middle here could be the column where the face comes. We could even widen it so it's 5 columns. So I could see us either using this space for the face, or this space if we decide to make it larger. So we'll see. But I mean, you said you were going to do some sketches, but feel free totally, even if any of you, if you get any thoughts or just like quick sketches, that'll be really helpful, because this is creating art from scratch here, so it's always going to be handy to have some thoughts. And Met's images, oh yes, that's where we were. I almost forgot for a minute. Right, so Met has sent some images of oh yeah, that first one really reminds me of Father Maple almost. It looks a bit more like, I love how it's all very subtly part of the tree. So that's something to think about with Father Maple as well, because Father Maple, if this is the case, was Father Maple created the same way as Yorosar was? You know, because funny that they're the only 2 trees with the faces in the forest. So there's some backstory there with that tree, even the history of it. Or maybe he's carved, maybe he's different. I mean, there's all sorts of ways we could go, but I definitely like that, the sort of the subtleness of that Father Maple. A scary face, not like obviously nightmare fuel, something totally creepy like that is interesting. Yeah, growing holes and knots with that. I think Van was on the same level, like wavelength with Father Maple with that too, a while ago. It's good to see you as well. I hope you've been all right. I've been busy with work and doing well mostly. Awesome. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to have you here again as well. Looking, that's how work's been treating you kindly though. With arms spread wide holding herbs. Ooh, yeah, do a sketch then, because it seems like you've got some sort of concept in mind, and I'm intrigued to see this. And I think the elves would always look young. That gives the humans reasons to be jealous, yeah. And elves wearing old person wigs, so humans don't underestimate their age too much. Old person wigs, yeah. And I would move the leaves around to give more space to the column of the elf in that area, yeah, because it is quite let's have a look and see the potential we could go here, because we could always just raise these leaves a bit, or just delete this section that's sloping down, and then we've got more space for sure, and it gives the impression of being high up. So we'll definitely have a mess around with that at words for sure. Once I've got a sort of sketch and some sort of concept, I'll start doing some outlines of it and get that put in. And then once the outline's in, the texture can be the next step after that. Yeah, sketch up some ideas and use something different than just a face in a tray. Yeah, for sure. Like all of you guys, I mean, Van's an artist anyway, so that's always really helpful to an artist. Hanging out pressure though, because you know, but yeah, that's always helpful. But any of you, even if you're not confident with your drawing, folks, if you've got some thought in mind, like even if it's a crappy sketch, an idea, just pop it in the Discord or anything, or send it in a link in stream. And the Father Maple tree was created by the creator of the Saints tree. He wanted to be like his father but had no talent for the tree magic like this, and thus created a twisting mess that looks like a face. Oh, that's really interesting, and that's really goes well with the sort of images that Met sent over as well, where they've merged in with the knots. And I think that's I like the approach for sure of the villain, the tree villain, not being this like ghastly monster where it's just very unsubtle, like it's almost laughable. That sort of horror is to me, and it's not actually that scary. But when it's more subtle like that, to me that actually is more creepy than the like in your face scary to me. And here's one where the face is made of vines and moss. Let's have a look at that one too. Thanks for all the reference images. Oh yeah, he's got a moss moustache. That's an interesting one. And that's the thing. Would your Asabi moustache or bearded, or is he gonna have this like pure angel face of like just complete no beard? Because that's an interesting thing to think. Because when I think of elves, I think of clean, like very pure angelic face with not a hair on it. When I personally think of elves. And I think that direction would be interesting for the tree too, if we decided to go that route. Angel face, pure, yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? Because like the fact is this healer type as well. Like I just imagine that, but for sure, yeah, moustache sort of bearded isn't what I think of when I think of elves, but yeah, I think of dwarves when I think of moustache and beard. Most of the carved ones I see have wizard beards, but this one is clean faced. Oh, let's see, because it's an interesting sort of thing to think of the clean shaven one, because originally it was just like beard moustache tree, but then seeing this one, some really like that one's completely clean shaven. And although I definitely think that face is more intimidating than how ours would look, because that's not very angelic looking, is it? Let's face it. It's definitely got the very smooth sort of look. And it's all just really, it's an outline of a face with a bit of light on the cheekbones and that. It's quite a stylised face and something that I think could work. Let's look at this one. Oh yes, that's an interesting one. I haven't got it up. Let me put that one in. Like this is like, yeah, this is where's it gone? Where's it hiding? Aseprite's in the way. Don't be scared, folks. It is quite something very nightmare-y all about it, isn't it? Just staring straight into your soul. But that's like sort of angelic, isn't it? Like definitely the elven. I could imagine an elf sort of having that kind of face. Pure smooth face, yeah. Like the features, right, and that straight face, like expressionless, just staring into your soul face. Yeah. Herbalist probably would avoid it, yeah. Kind of gives the look of the hair too on that image, yeah. So maybe something like that, Van, if that would help with your sketch. I mean, Met, it's the most recent link that Met sent, so but that expression, yeah. You don't know what he's thinking with that face. You don't know if he's bad or you don't know if he's good, which is great because the late fall tree is neutral, right? I mean, he definitely is the sort of good. He's the sort of spirit of good, guardian of good for sure. But he also does he's sort of neutral territory as well. So neutral good, and then Father Maple is when you go into the evil. So yeah, and sure, yeah, awesome. The expression, yeah, the different perspectives, you could get different sort of opinions on that. Like you could easily say wise, good, angelic, but then you could say neutral too, which feels like the right vibe for the lake fall tree. So this is really cool, guys. This tree is going to come a long way soon. I think that's going to be our focus next for the pixel art. It's going to be all trees. I mean, there's other bits to do as well, like the water. I wanted to do the waterfall animation and some of the floral and moss and vines and that to just add more detail. But I'll think of that after the trees. It's all about a step at a time with this pixel art now. So I'll dedicate June to trees, getting the texture and leaves and this vase done, and because I'm planning on releasing the Steam page screenshots for June. I think, you know, the trees are a big part of those screenshots, so if they can be at a good standard, they'll help. Having them look cool will help go quite far. And of course, I'll just keep updating the screenshots every week on the Steam page whenever I add more. It looks like Amoe Design Star was right. Yeah, you was right. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, yeah, there's another one. There's something to me that's quite... There's quite a presence there with that face. You know, it's very... I think that's a really good look. And I think that would contrast very well with Father Maple. Especially this idea of having him have his face twisted in with the knots. I think that's like a really... It's like they're opposites, and it makes sense with that little lore backstory idea you had as well, Van. And it's the same tree. It's the exact same, yeah. That's funny. And if we look at this this as well, it's almost got that same look as this pixel art one that we found, where the face is separate from the tree bark. Like the face is protruding out of the tree bark. It's not a part of the tree bark like the Father Maple one would be. It's protruding. And then you've got the tree texture surrounding the face. But the face itself is like smooth, but then the tree texture's more rough, and that'd be a cool contrast visually as well, having a baby smooth face and then the rough texture of the tree. This is interesting. It's a bud that the roots have grown around. This is really cool, guys. I think these art streams are going to be quite valuable. now, especially now that we're going down the custom route, because there really wasn't much we could do before with the old tile set. And although, like, I honestly really liked the old tile set, I think it was very I spent a lot of time getting the detail of the floral and vines in, and it really sort of brought the forest to life. But I think this one, once that reaches this stage, but once this new one reaches the stage that one is, it's going to be much, I think, better, way better, once it actually gets to that stage. And the flexibility of being able to do what we want is just much more it's much more ideal, because it was limiting before. We'd have never have been able to change the Father Maple face. Like, we could have tried, but it would have been very tough to replicate that RPG Maker art style, or for me anyway. And someone could have made a statue of your set, and the tree grew around it, holding the statue close lovingly in the roots. Really cool. I like these concepts. Definitely, I'd be very interested to see a sketch of yours, Van. And then I'm going to do an outline of it. That would be fun. So, yeah, whenever you get a moment, and no pressure, whenever you do, just even if it's just quick and crappy, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Just this thought, this visual idea you've got, you send it over, and then I'll do a pixel art outline on the tree. Just a flat outline for now of one colour in a column of the tree I'll do. And then when we think it's awesome, once let's get Aseprite up again. Once, like, we've got the outline and the column and the sizing and composition perfected, that'll be when we start thinking of the texture and shadow and light stuff. It's probably best not to even go there until we're happy with the shape of it all and everything. But in the meantime, I can work on the leaves off stream if I don't want to get too into the trunk, because of wanting to be happy with the face first. Yeah. Also, just in this one, really has the natural style. Awesome. Okay, folks, so I can't believe it's already 6:15. I'm going to look at those reference images though, because they'll be there on the VOD when I look through it later, because I don't have time to look now, but I'm definitely going to have a little glance at those when I get a bit of time after my dinner and things. So I'm going to prepare to get us, see if there's anyone on. I don't know if there is, but we'll look. But thanks for hanging out. This is definitely a big one, like an interesting turn that the game's gone now. But yeah, so I think approaching it with the right mindset is important. If I approached it with the mindset of, oh my God, it has to be done in the next month or two, it has to be 100% perfect before the Steam release and first paperboard, then that would have been too much, and I wouldn't have even started, because I'd have just been overwhelmed. But approaching it with this bit by bit mindset and seeing it as, oh, it'll come to life slowly, is so much more, so much better. And I don't think this would have been possible, put it this way, guys, I don't think me doing this would have been possible if this game, Roots and Rumours, had multiple biomes. The fact that this is just set in a forest, it makes, like, it takes the wealth, because I know that this is it. This is the only tile set I have to do for this game. And obviously we've got more tile sets coming up. We got the farmlands, the capital, but that's like, later on, the future games. So it's not like I have to do every single landscape within a year or a year and a half. It's all over time. And yeah, we do have a flashback with Carol on the wagon with a family, but that's just the wagon, you know, and there is a slight little view of the farmlands as the wagon goes past, but you know, it's not like we're seeing the whole of the farmlands. We just see the dirt road and a few of the crops and fences, and that as well I can slowly work on as well. Would you want to go to the Discord of another streamer I know? I think he's better at giving art advice than I am. Yeah, like, is it a Discord that you know, or is it a stream met? But yeah, feel free to pop any links, like if there's any like good content creators or peeps, then you can always recommend and I'll have a bit of a nose, for sure. Are they online right now? Because I am looking to raid someone. I'm gonna have to go soon though, so I can drop off. I'm ready for my dinner, I know that. Alright, Max, I think I've got to head off. I'm gonna have to rush off actually, so I just as well back to raid, but we'll do it next time. But yeah, Matt, feel free to send me the link in Discord of that streamer in a relevant Discord or general chat, I don't mind. But I'll see you all next week on Tuesday, folks. Not sure what the stream's going to be focused on yet, but it's going to be something on our list of streams to do. We might carry on with pixel art, but we might do some at world building, or we might do Met's character. We'll see what we're in the mood for. They stream from the Twitch name Frankie Pixel Show, and their Discord link should be on their channel page. Thanks for streaming. Awesome. I'll have a look, Matt, and thanks for streaming. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Thank you. Thanks for being here for the special 250th. See you next week.